Another Blue Zone value and insight that we often miss. The anti-aging industry is an $84 billion a year industry and has failed to produce even one pill, supplement, or intervention that's been shown to slow, stop, or reverse aging. It is all. We just had one of the greatest doctors in the world on, and he said that all these anti-aging supplements, to use his word, are bullshit. And I happen to believe that. But one thing I know works is friends. People who care about you on a bad day. And your friends, you were telling us, are the same people who appeared on Big Little Lies, who are the most famous and fabulous people in the world. And I'm just wondering, are in Hollywood, are friendships transactional, or can you really make true friends in this town?
The truest friends you could ever dream up. Being an only child raised by actors in this town, my sisters were the people I worked with. I did my first movie at 11. So I've found, in the found family we all find in our life and are blessed to find, a huge part of that for many is the workplace or university, where you're put together. And then you're together forever because of this great love story you find. And so for me, work and making a show or a movie or whatever it was with, my, dearest girlfriends of my life. I'm lucky to have my best friend from early childhood who still remains, and two of my best friends from my school years. And I'm, so I feel like, friendships are also found by the chapters, but of our lives. But in my case, I've had the incredible good fortune of those friendships lasting to this day, and I expect through a lifetime.
But you live in this world, so you just think it's normal, but you have these A-list celebrities who are seemingly best friends, but do you think they are really best friends?
Well, let's break it down because it's interesting.
Yeah.
How?
Because I think I'm voicing the skepticism of others and not really challenging, but interested.
But how is a friendship born? Usually, like any love story, we find each other at a moment where we allow our hearts to crack open. We're in a circumstance where our most vulnerable self shows up. Be that middle school, be that a heartbreak, be that going through a deep and true time, you suddenly are more available to being your most honest self. So what would be more profound for the skeptics out there? Dan isn't one. He's just giving voice to that.
Yes, I'm just reporting.
Yeah. Then, you're playing out a story of women going through the depth of despair together, immense heartbreak, worry about a child, losing a parent. And you're playing out these stories. The only way to the truth is you share your own life with each other. So instead of having a perfunctory friendship with a colleague, you're together saying, what hurt you the most? When were you your most afraid? Hold my hands because it's a very emotional scene and I'm falling apart here. And those people are with you forever. Of all the people I think of in moments of my life, one of the great privileges I ever had, and even though we don't see each other and don't regularly have time together, she's always in my heart because when Ellen DeGeneres had her television show, not her talk show, but her TV series, Ellen, she made the gorgeous and radically brave choice to come out as her character and herself on national television. And I wanted to support her and played the character that she comes out to. And it was massively impactful.
Yeah.
And
You were
changed
shunned
everything.
after that.
What's that?
You were kind of criticized.
Well, yeah, we went through and weird times, security, everything, But I got to be the person that held her hands and looked in her eyes as she said publicly for the first time, "I'm gay," and I knew all that she was carrying with that moment. She had shared with me stories of her life, and it was its own ritual. So there is nothing surface about the ritual of telling someone who you are and sharing your pain or your joy together. That's how all these friendships were born.
So if you like that clip, there's a lot more where that came from. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you won't miss our new videos as they come out each week.